I made $18,900 in 1 week with the relaunch of my online coaching business. And in this video, I'm gonna break down my entire funnel for you. Everything from the marketing to before the launch, to actually nurturing the leads, to the sales process and actually closing the clients in. And why I'm doing this is I wanna show you guys how simple of a funnel this is. And after watching this, you should be able to copy pretty much exactly what I did. And if you want to start your own coaching business and you have an audience, use it for that. Or if you're trying to partner up with an influencer or online coach and help them grow their coaching business, you can literally just plug this in there. I didn't have a big audience. I didn't have, a crazy amount of leads. I didn't go viral or anything like that. I had a small pool of people and I was able to turn it into cash. And that's why I want to show you this, because you can really do this with anyone who's trying to start an online coaching business, or if you're trying to start one yourself. And to give you some context, it's actually been a while since I posted a video. This launch I did at the end of July, and this was for a reselling offer where I'm teaching people how to make money with reselling online. And reselling is very good during the end of July, August season, because it's back to school. Sneakers, clothing, all the prices go up. So I decided to do a relaunch of this offer, and it did very well. And I've been doing this for a while on this offer. I'm actually involved in the program as well, if you didn't get that from my last videos. But again, this funnel could be used on anything. So what I did is I broke down the entire thing, documented the whole thing. That's why I haven't posted in a while, so you guys can see. And I built it into a huge diagram. So without further ado, let's head to my laptop. I'm going to show you the entire thing. All right, we're at the laptop. So before I get into everything, here is just the calls that I had tracked. 20 calls during the launch week, 50% close rate, and you'll see 8,500 here. The extra 400 is just from downsells, and you'll see how I did that through just a smaller community for people that might have been unqualified, but I could still help. You'll see that in the sales process, and I'll go into that. But starting off with the first step of this launch, and that was setting the launch date. And if you guys don't know already, pretty much where all my lead flow goes to is my free Discord. And in the free Discord, I pretty much set a launch date of July 26th and started off as just a complete teaser. And I posted on the 14th. So we had around like 15 days of buildup. And over those 15 days, I marketed to this date daily. I threw sneak peeks. I gave hints at it. I didn't directly give away what I was doing, but I just hinted at it. And that looks like this. I mean, that looks like just showing the inner circle wins every single day. The inner circle section in the free Discord pretty much shows all the wins from the program every single day. That involves voice notes. I was sending out like daily voice notes in the free Discord, giving away value, but also hinting. Every one of these voice notes, you would hear me mention July 26th in. And then what I also did is I planned a live call, actually a 3-day series call that I was going to start with on the 26th. So I put that out. And as you can see, I had just first like couple of days of posting it, I had 98 people interested in that. So all of this was just teasers and getting people warmed up to what and interested to what I was launching on the 26th. And of course, another thing that I didn't mention is doing market research. Now, I haven't done a relaunch of this program in a while, so I was doing market research to make sure the offer was perfect. And you can see that here through these polls. What's your monthly profit at? What's your biggest struggle with reselling right now? How much money are you working with to resell? This is qualifying people. This is figuring out what I need to make sure I have included in the program. This is figuring out where my people are at now. And all of this was used in giving away free value on what they needed as well. One of the coaches, my brother, made a video on how to start sourcing inventory. I said it was directly from inside the inner circle. React to this message and I'll send it to you. Again, this is me just giving out free value, building that trust, getting them excited for that July 26th. This portion right here is most important for a launch. And really only had a buildup of like 15 days, but that was just the amount of time that I needed. And a couple days before the launch, I announced pretty much a final like announcement. And I said how I was doing the 3 calls. And those calls were going to be a big factor in actually getting people to apply once I launched it as well. That was the first step, was actually building up hype and marketing to that launch date that was coming. Now, the next step is actually the launch day and what turned into the launch week. What this looked like was an initial launch day post where pretty much showed the entire offer stack, just a glimpse of like what I launched. And it was the Inner Circle relaunch. Applications are now open, and keeping it very short and sweet with what they get access to: suppliers, buyers, one-on-one coaching, modules, live calls, all of that sort of stuff. And what I had to do is also build urgency and announce a window. So as you can see, applications closed after either 10 spots were filled or they closed on July 31st, whatever came close. So this basically gave people a deadline that they had to apply by. And everyone that applied in this deadline would get a discounted rate and bonus features. So again, that's just adding to the urgency, making them want to apply during this week. And you might be like, oh, what did the link to the application look like? It was so simple, so simple. And the reason being is because you might think, oh, you need this super fancy landing page. I've been building trust with these people through free value, through hints at this, through videos, through literally live calls. I've been building so much trust with these and rapport with these people that all I really needed was a short form. Putting a massive landing page with all these testimonials and all this information wasn't needed at all. And as you can see, in like the first 30 minutes, I had 19 applications and 66 views of the actual page. So pretty solid. Obviously the opt-in rate could have been better, not gonna lie, but solid. And that all I needed was that form. And what I did is when I had those people applying, I actually showed that after like 20 minutes, I posted and showed, this was actually like after an hour because there was more. I showed that people were applying and I was like, this is going to fill up quick. Make sure you get your application in it if you have interest in this. And that spiked applications as well. And then again, just another post of this with success this time, showing the calls I have booked. 43 applications, already enrolled 2 people. Make sure you apply if you want to apply. This is a step that some people don't do, is they'll post this initial post, but then they won't post anything after that. You need to show that people are actually applying. You need to show that you're enrolling people while the other people that might have a little bit of interest are just sitting back doing nothing. And then the next portion of getting people to apply, CTAing, and all that was actually the live calls. So that night, that launch day, I did a live call. And why does this pair perfect is I had close to 100 people show up. Anyone that might have been interested but a little bit skeptical of applying, when they see me live giving out value, giving out sauce that they can use, and also showing live results from inside of the program, and I drop the link to apply in the call, they're going to be way more obligated to actually apply. So anyone that was on their seat or kind of on the verge of applying applied here. And I did 3 calls in a row: the launch day, the day after, and the day after that. So I had plenty of people that were able to apply from that. And by after those 3 days, I had 43 applications and I was booking calls easily off of that. And obviously not everyone was qualified, but I was booking calls off of that. And lastly, anyone that maybe has been to the calls, has showed interest and still not applied, I had all the interested leads that were interested in the event that I had done market research with. I had them all marked down so I could actually follow up with these people and be like, hey, are you still interested in this? Is there any reason you're not applying? Blah, blah, blah. I could do that. Now, and you guys are probably like, holy crap, this is a lot of work. It was. I didn't have a team for this at all. So I wanted to fully do this by myself to be able to document it and put it on YouTube and kind of just show. And, obviously there's always room for improvement. I could have done better, but I do feel like this was very well. I was very satisfied with this, with kind of being a single man show here. Now for the next step, which is obviously the sales process. These people are applying. What am I doing from there? First step is texting the applicants and getting on an initial setting call. On the setting call with them, you can figure out if they're financially qualified, figure out if they're actually committed enough time to do this, and figure out what they need help with and if they're a good fit to work with you. That's what the setting call is for. And it also builds trust as an initial get to know you, more trust before the sales call. And this is kind of what that looked like. So I showed a less warm lead first. And as you can see, I reached out with a text, got on the call, and here's the key is what I mentioned here: the pre-call process for booked leads. So people that I did were qualified to end up booking in a sales call. This guy, for example, he hadn't been in my free Discord that long. He was fairly cold. So what I did is I sent him one video to watch before the call, and then he liked it. I sent him another video, and even more specific here, he wanted to something called flex and reselling. He wanted to get better at that. I had a live call with a coach who was really good at what he liked a couple weeks ago inside the program. So I sent him the recording from that to watch. So he got both. So he completely warmed up whatever, like, what am I looking for? Objections that you would have in that small window before our call were shattered. And he ended up paying in full, not the full amount here, but we had a deposit before, and then he paid the rest. Now, on the other hand, this is a guy who was pretty hot. As you can see, when I reached out, he talked about like how much he really liked what I was doing, how I was so committed to everyone. And I could tell like this guy was going to be a great fit. He would kill it, and he should be a pretty easy close. So I ended up sending him like one video, but he already watched it and he had been to all three of the calls. So this guy was like set. And as you can see, easy painful. And the last thing I showed you guys, and this was that extra $400 that I said came from down sells. Some of these people weren't qualified. So what I set up on this launch is anybody that maybe wasn't qualified, I had a cheap offer for them. And that was just a reseller community with a few things to help them out. And anybody that wasn't qualified, I had that downsell. So this guy I did the setting call with, I figured out he wasn't qualified. Easy close on the downsell. So that's the sales process. And the most important thing about this is building up that trust before. So this part is easy. That's the biggest thing. And if they need a little bit more build up, the pre-call process has to be strong. And that's like one of the most important things. And last but not least is what I call the post-launch week cleanup. And this was pretty much a final day of launch post to get an application spike, and then following up with any interested leads who didn't apply and offer them a potential spot. So as you can see, I made the post and I actually showed two of the guys that I enrolled. I showed results that they had already gotten being a couple of days into the program. So here's another thing, whether it's your own coaching program or you're working with a creator who you're trying to help build them a coaching program, it has to be good. Like you can't just be, a guru or a scammer out there. Your program has to be good. These guys that got in had gotten results in the first couple of days. So I was able to show that as social proof. And that's the best thing you could possibly do. And that led to an extra 5 applications that came in on the last day. And I closed some of those people. And last thing that you could do that I did is anybody that didn't end up applying could hit them up a few days after and just be like, hey, just wrapped up getting the new guys into Inner Circle. I had a few people that fell through. Is it still something you're interested in? And from there, you could rack in a couple applications or people that might be interested as well and not leave any lead behind. That was my process. And like I said, it wasn't perfect, but the reason why I haven't posted a video in so long is because I literally wanted to document this, do it all by myself and show you guys. And like I said, not perfect, but got really solid results here. And this is a super simple funnel. Literally free Discord, launch, and sales process. You could do this with any industry. If you're trying to build a coaching program yourself, like if you have a following or you're trying to work with a creator, this is something that you could do for them. And it's something that I'll definitely plug into different industries as well. So hope you got, and I know I was probably all over the place a little bit, but hopefully you guys understand what I'm coming from here and what I'm saying. So yeah, if you took any value from it and learned something here and are going to use this, please subscribe, show some support, like the video. And if you have any questions about anything, you can leave questions in the comments, or I'll link my Instagram as well. And you can DM me on there with any questions. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's good to be back on YouTube. I'm going to be super consistent now with putting out videos each week, kind of documenting more stuff on this, like selling people in. I'm going to do another launch, and also some other things as well. So peace out. Hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.